Hello everyone and welcome to Siriana Tarot. This is a no communication love reading for Leo, focused on a connection where communication may currently be limited, paused, or unclear. We'll explore this energy, not to fix or chase anyone, but to support your clarity, self-trust, and emotional steadiness. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. Clear messages, advice, and guidance for my Leos, please. All right, so we have the 10 of Cups, your person's energy, okay? And you're in the Judgment card in reverse, Aries, Scorpio. All right, and there's a Tower moment. I think there's a Tower moment going on in your energy here, Leo. Some of you may have misjudged this connection or misjudged this person. And we see the Moon card energy in reverse. I feel Cancer, Pisces energy. This is somebody who's been slowly revealing themselves to you, Leo, and you may have thought that this wasn't your type of person. You two weren't compatible. Maybe you felt like they didn't like you. Maybe you didn't even really like this person at first. But what I'm getting is with the Moon in reverse, this person is revealing layers to themselves. And I think this is changing everything. I think you're realizing you're seeing this person much differently than you once did. I mean, they're coming out as the 10 of Cups. So this is a very high vibrational energy. This is someone who could potentially be a partner for you. All right, we see the Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag. So this person may have fire in their chart. This is someone who's sexy, powerful, attractive, successful. All right, let's see. And they're viewing you as the Page of Wands. Also in a very similar energy. Now, there may be a little bit of an age difference, but the Page of Wands here tells me that this person sees you as someone they would take a risk or a leap of faith with. I feel like you two are actually much more similar than you thought when you first met this person, Leo. This person might be waiting for you to make a move. And again, I don't think, I just feel like you misjudged this person. And again, this might be someone that doesn't really open up until they feel more secure, they feel safe. You know, it could be somebody who's kind of quiet and shy, but when you get to know them, you realize, oh my gosh, they're anything but. They could be somebody who's quite humble, but you might realize that they've amassed a fortune for themselves, or they're quite powerful when it comes to business, or I don't know. It just feels like you feel like you might have misjudged this person, but maybe not to any fault of your own. I mean, like I said, it does feel like this is somebody who's been quietly revealing or slowly revealing parts of themselves, and you're like, wow, you're not who I thought you were. But I'm not reading it as a bad thing necessarily. Yeah, the King of Pentacles energy in reverse is, you may have had a superficial idea of who this person was until now. And again, I don't think that's any fault of your own. I don't think it's because you're superficial or because you're bad at judging character, but I do think that this is somebody who has a lot of depth, but it takes time to see that. It may be somebody who's very picky with their energy as well. Like they may kind of keep things very superficial with people until they feel like, okay, this could be something, or this could be a friendship, or, maybe even sussing you out. But I see you're not fully invested in this connection, or not really taking action, because again, I think you're still kind of sussing them out. And you're viewing them as the 9 of Wands. So I feel like you're seeing this person's strength. But again, this is somebody who's quite guarded. So it's like you're chipping away at that guard here, Leo, right? The way only a Leo can, right? And there's a Tower moment. There's a big shift here. There's a surprise, a transformation going on between the two of you. Now your person is not holding back. They're viewing this relationship as something that's actually quite compatible. Whereas again, they may have been, I feel like this is somebody who's quite picky. I feel like they're not just picky. I feel like they're very discerning. I feel like this is somebody who doesn't let a whole lot of people in or get really close to them. And you're viewing this relationship as the Sun in reverse, so something that's very in alignment with you. And even though this is Leo energy in reverse, it's like there was something hidden here. And it's something that feels like it's making you actually very happy. And we see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. But yeah, you're not quite ready to move forward with this because it feels like there's been a little bit of a shock to the system. I don't know if you're falling in love with this person, Leo. As you get to know them, they're probably falling in love with you as well. I mean, there's definitely passion and attraction, but there is something here that's holding you back because you're like, wait, what? Wait, who are you? And like I said, it's not because you're a bad judge of character. It's because this person, keeps things close to their chest. They're either very private or they're a little bit reserved, or they might come off as not reserved and quite gregarious and social and friendly, but then you start to realize that this person actually doesn't let a lot of people in, like real close to them. Someone can be very friendly and social, but keep very few close friends, or very few people see who they really truly are. And I'm not getting I'm not getting like, oh, this is a covert narcissist energy. I'm actually seeing they're much better than maybe you originally thought. All right. And we see strategy energy in reverse. This is not somebody who has ulterior motives. All right. The World card, it does feel like this is somebody who's very different from you. And again, you may have I don't want to say you wrote them off at first, but you may have just thought, we're not super compatible. They're not really my type. We're very different from each other. C'est la vie. Okay. But I think you're also, I'm getting a real beautiful honesty from this person. Somebody who's honest, true, and doesn't have ulterior motives. And we see the thinking man. Well, they're also looking at all the details. They're also thinking about this connection, because most likely they're surprised at how they're letting you in. They may have misjudged you as well. All right. And we see broken heart. So it does feel like this is someone who's done a lot of healing work. Again, they might be a little bit, I'm thinking in Spanish right now. The word that came to me was arisco, for those of you who speak Spanish, which is like a little bit standoffish in English. So like they may be a little bit standoffish when it comes to love because they've been hurt, because they're protecting themselves. All right, but let's see, clear messages. But you're not so sure about moving forward here just yet. But like I said, things are shifting, changing. There's been some sort of surprise or some sort of shock. And it's coming because you're getting beneath their walls and their barriers, Leo. You're seeing the different layers of this person. And I think you're liking what you're seeing. Yeah, this person definitely has some anxiety around love, maybe even around letting people get close or too close. So you're afraid to get close to someone. They are scared to give them a chance. So this person's thinking about, don't I with Leo? And comparing is unfair. Leave the past behind and see your new love for who they are. Yeah, I do feel like this is somebody who's been hurt. This is somebody who's been deeply hurt, and they're worried that's going to happen again. And I think that's why they don't let too many people in. All right. And we see not being you. You're trying to project a perfect image, but it's not really you. Be yourself. Again, I don't think this is somebody who's false. Okay. What I think is this person is probably very friendly and nice, and they keep things kind of surface level to protect themselves with most people, but they're capable of extreme emotional depth. And I think you're starting to realize that. And I think you're starting to realize, wait a minute, hold up. This person is much more interesting, much more attractive than I actually initially thought. So I feel like there's a little bit of a rewind. Rewind. Let's replay those tapes. All right, Leo, let's see what this person wants to say to you. What does this person want to say to you? All right, unsatisfied. I wasn't happy the way things were going. So maybe they're unsatisfied with the way the relationship was, and they realize they need to let you in if they want something deeper. And I'm struggling to find the right path, but they do feel like this could be a destined partnership. And there's definitely chemistry. This person is feeling it. The Nine of Wands is inherently, it is a very sexually charged card. I'm not going to go into why, but it is. And with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Wands, there's chemistry. I've never felt a passion this intense. So they're definitely feeling it with you. I think, my Leos, I'm not saying you're not attracted to this person, but I feel like you're still figuring them out. All right. Let's see what's going on behind the scenes. Something you might not be aware of. Anything my Leos need to know that they may or may not be aware of here. Anything my Leos need to know. Deepening feelings. Yeah. I do think it's on both sides, but their feelings for you are also deepening and insurmountable obstacles. But I do think your person has an element of pessimism when it comes to love, because it feels like they might be very trauma informed when it comes to relationships. All right, so let's go ahead and see what is this person's very next actions towards you. What are this person's very next actions towards my Leos, please? What are this person's very next actions towards my Leos, please? All right, Six of Cups, sweet energy, crushing on you. You will be seeing this person again, and it's not going to be uncomfortable. So I don't know where you see them, or if you've started dating them, you went on a date or two with them, or if they're a friend, or you see them at work or wherever, out and about in the community. But you will be seeing them again. It's going to be a sweet exchange. The Six of Swords energy in reverse, but they still might be a little bit detached here. And the Hermit card, ooh, but they're going to be revealing deeper. Things are getting deeper between the two of you. The Knight of Wands, so they are coming towards you. This is somebody who, you know, like I said, there's really strong physical attraction, but that's not their focus. They want to get to know you better, and they also want you to get to know them better, Leo. And is there physical attraction? Absolutely. But it's like the Hermit card in reverse is like an even deeper reveal. So a deepening of feelings, a deepening of the connection. Beautiful. All right, let's see what else we need to know. All right, what else do we need to know here? We see protect. All right, so you're being asked to protect yourself and your energy. It's okay to want to give to others, which you do effortlessly. It's important, though, that you set healthy boundaries with your energy before you do so. Now is the time to get some protection in place. Now, I don't think you need to protect your energy from this person. I really don't, because I feel like they don't have ulterior motives. They're not strategizing, but they have a little bit of anxiety. And like I said, I do think they're a little bit trauma informed when it comes to relationships. I'm kind of getting some of my Leos, you may need to protect your energy from outside forces or protect this connection from others. Okay. And what I mean by that is like, you know, maybe keeping it close to your chest. You haven't quite made a decision yet about where you want this to go or if you want this to move forward. You know, and I feel like also protecting yourself from, let this unfold. And I'm kind of getting like, you don't need to talk to too many people about this, right? Obviously your trusted friends and loved ones, you know, but like, I kind of feel like there could be some gossip here. All right, that's more of the energy I'm getting. And connect to your intuition. Repeating patterns are keeping you from making a new choice in this situation. Break free from old ways of thinking and ask for new insight. But I feel like that's the energy of this connection. I feel this person with a tower moment. I mean, I think it's for both of you, but this person is making you see things in a different light, seeing people, love, relationships differently. All right, so very interesting reading. I actually really like this because I don't know exactly where it's going. Are there sweet feelings and attraction? Absolutely. But I feel like this is a connection that goes deeper than maybe anything before, or at least anything in a really long time. And trying to figure out what you want to do with that is kind of the homework here, right? But it's for both people. So I'm going to leave it here, Leo. I'm sending you love and light. Take care.